for us, it's time to go next level, right? I mean, so you could sit here in analysis paralysis for
Hmm.
years, right, with all that we have going on, but I think we just, we don't ever do things the easy way. We always take on about 350% more than we can chew.
Hey everybody, this is Ty with Preservan, and today I am again with some of my favorite franchise owners. I've got Nate and Brianna, and they are in Emerald Coast. So this is Preservan Emerald Coast, and Emerald Coast is essentially the Florida Panhandle, right? So you got Pensacola, Panama City, Destin. So it's a general area, and they were in training more than a year ago, and they've been open up for almost an entire year. But I'm super excited to sit down with them and just hear from them about what their first year has been like, the wins, the challenges, and everything in between. So Nate, Brianna, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Ty.
thanks for having us.
Yeah. So what's going on today? What's happening in the field as an owner? What's happening right now in the field today?
So right now, we have Brad, our main technician. He is working on a commercial job in Pensacola. It is the third or fourth in this strip mall that we've done that was built in the 80s. Some old wood windows, all wood sided. So for here out in Northwest Florida, recipe for disaster, um, from wood rot. And so he is on day 3 of that job, and it'll be about a 4-day job. So
All right, all right. Well, that's really cool. We'll have to dive a little bit more into that. I'm interested in sharing how you kind of got lashed on the shot. And you said it's what part of your territory?
Pensacola.
Pensacola. Okay, so kind of Pensacola is where you guys kind of kicked the business off. I mean, you do have I think 3 total territories. We really kicked it off in the Pensacola area, and you've got Brad. Is Brad your only technician right now, or do you guys have any more?
Brad is our only epoxy technician, and then we also have Gavin, who is a stain and seal technician.
That's right. You guys are early adopters of our stain and seal service. We'll also interested to kind of hear what that's been like getting that kicked off. But very cool. Well, on this call, we're just really gonna talk about what it's been like to get open and what your first year has been like. And I'll start with hopefully an easy one. You look back over the last year. And both of you answer individually here, but
Yeah.
uh, what has been the thing you're most proud of? And Nate, I'll kick it off with you. What has been the thing you're the most proud of?
It's a good question. One of those on the spot ones where I actually have to think appropriately, right? Yeah, no, most proud of. It's hard to just honestly nail it down to one thing, right? Um, I would say the thing most proud of is the culture that Brianna and I have always wanted to be a part of in an organization. We're actually being able to build and model and create that culture in our own team and our own business. So, um, you know, we want our technicians to be like family.
Hmm.
We want it to feel like a safe space, trust, transparency, and all the feedback we get from them. They love working for us. They love what we do, what we provide for neighbors, the
Yeah.
services, how we approach it, and um, you know, obviously we have to scale that and grow that to a bigger team, and that's our goal.
Hmm.
Um, but but for me, I think I'm most proud of the fact that we've been able to stay true to um who we are as people and be able to give that to our employees as well.
Man, that's really good. So, like, just kind of high level, because somebody might be listening to this and they're thinking about owning a business, and I'm sure that I mean I hope that anybody that wants to be part of Preservin is interested in creating a really awesome culture. So what are some tips that you could give somebody about how you guys have created that culture, the culture of business that you want to have there in EMC?
Go for it.
I think we just, like, live by the golden rule a little bit,
Right.
like, treat other people like you wanna be treated, and I think we've had some really good leadership experiences in the past with leaders who have been above us. We've had some not so good, and I think we've been able to learn a lot of how do we want our employees to feel every day? I'm always a feelings person. Like, how do we want them to wake up and feel? And I want them to be excited about the work. I want them to feel passion for the work. I want them to feel like they can also have a living, like they can live off of the opportunity we
Hmm.
provide and the service we provide. And so for me, that's one of the tips for someone who be looking into Preservan is if you are an wanting to be an owner who lives up to that value and who can provide true cost of living. Like we can actually provide someone the ability to have this as their only job and not have to work a few different jobs. Being in this service industry, sometimes guys are working lots of jobs.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of odd jobs here and there. They're working odd hours. They're working long hours. And I feel like we can provide a normal 9 to 5 routine that
Hmm.
they can live off of and provide for their family off of, and I think that's one of the most important things we can give an employee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
No,
to jump
that's
on
really good. Yeah, Nate.
yeah, and to jump on top of that, like, I also love that we can give them a voice, right? Like,
Mhm.
Brianna and I are fully aware that well, I don't know everything, she's closer to knowing everything. But, they're in it all day, every day, right? And they have a voice, and we want them to be autonomous, and we want them to feel empowered. And so you combine that with what Brianna said, and it just feels like we're going the right direction, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I've had a handful of these calls, and I'm not going to say all of them, but I feel like all of them. And I think this just goes to speak to the culture of our organization. Every time I have asked that, almost every time, maybe every time, that has been the exact same answer. Ben, Logan, Steven, everybody has come back. It is something related to what they've built with their team, the culture they've built with your team. So,
Yeah.
Brianna, I asked Nate first what he's most proud of. Is that what you're most proud of, or is there something separate?
I I am proud of that. I am very proud of that. But I'm also really proud of Nate.
Yeah.
Like, I know we were in the context of he was getting laid off. Like, we were in some weird transition phase
Yeah.
in our, workforce situation. But he has talked for so many years about, like, I'm gonna have my own business and I'm gonna, be an owner of something. And not that I was totally a naysayer, but I was like, okay, honey, like, let's like one step at a time, right? Um, giving him the freedom to kind of find
Yeah.
this and to find you and then to to meet you, Ty, and be like, "Oh, okay, I can get behind Ty." Like, if I can get behind Ty, then I know there's a support system for Nate, which watching him shine as a leader and watching him kind of grow this and take this on as his baby and be there to support him has been one of my most proud moments.
Yeah. There you go, man. That's so heartwarming, so wholesome. You guys are awesome.
well, now I
And
can't finish this podcast because I have to go cry.
well, I gotta tell you, like, you know, uh, I want to say that there are some specific times I remember over this last year of like taking a call with Nate when and we're going to talk about this thing because not everything has gone just according to plan with you guys, and Nate's ability to roll with the punches. And I think I mean, we always, and I'm, I can't take all the credit because I have an amazing person that supports me in everything that I do. And I'm going to give Nate the credit, but I do know that there's a whole lot of support behind the scenes here. But just the ability to roll with the punches when the punches were coming. I mean, we started training and it kind of kicked off right from training where you guys are in Oklahoma City. You got family who has traveled to Pensacola to be with your kids, to watch your kids while you're in training, and then we got a hurricane headed your way, right? And this is what
Yep.
we're trying to figure out from day one, and so just Nate's ability, one, to ask questions. And Nate never fails to ask a question. Like
Nope.
Nate will ask a question. He'll ask 10 questions, and really, uh, that is something that, like, I think a lot of people in business fail to do, small business, whether it's a Preservan franchisee or somebody else. They just, like, they think they're all out there alone on an island, and they're not asking questions. And, you know, there is no dumb question in business because,
Yeah.
something that I can just assume, you know, you guys didn't come to this. Like, you guys didn't come from this. And so all of the questions are great. So Nate has fearlessly asked questions, which I think is an incredible trait, and then acted on the strategies and answers that we were able to provide. So you guys, that's both of these things are what I'm most proud of, being on this call with you guys today. So let's we're talking about what's good, but let's talk about what's been the most challenging, right? Like, from your perspective, what has been the most challenging thing you have faced this year?
Um, so it's hard to nail down just one thing because I feel like one thing is tied to a couple other
Mhm.
things, right? You know, we know the demand is out there. A lot of people out here need this service. So the combination of building that brand awareness, um, educating, right, our communities, right, and then getting that supply essentially built
Mhm.
to go out and execute um, across a very large geographical area to the extent of that. I guess I failed to see how that would impact my time on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. I can't be 3 places at once, 2 hours apart from each other, which at times has felt like I've had or needed to do
Mhm.
or find a strategy to
Mhm.
solve. So I guess, it would be just, I think there's infinite demand out here to be able to support and help our neighbors out, and we haven't tapped into that maybe the way that I just thought that it
Yeah.
might. We're eternal optimists over here. We feel like we're smart and we're educated, and we're like, "Okay, yeah, so go." And then
Yeah.
we just expected it to be, pouring down like rain,
Well,
but
you
that
guys,
was
and let's dig into that because I think it's important because, you guys are in Florida, right? And Florida,
Yep.
like, it's hot, it's humid, it's wet, there's wood, it's rotting, right? And you guys,
Yep.
there's no shortage of, like Nate said, there's no shortage of demand. But
Mhm.
unlike many of our other locations, just for people who aren't from your part of the country, will you kind of give somebody an explanation of just what that unique challenge is that you guys face that somebody else, you got three territories, but your three territories are a little bit different than what I think a lot of people with three territories in, say, a Dallas or an Atlanta or a New York would face. Kind of help people understand the uniqueness of your territory.
Yeah. I think to start, the size and the spread of it is the number one challenge, right? So from Panama City to Pensacola, we are talking a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive from one side of our territory to the very farthest other side. And that's just the coast. But then you also have the north, right? And
Mhm.
it's almost like living in the north is totally different than living along the coast. It's two totally different demographics. It's two totally different sets of lifestyle. It's just you're like rural America up north, and then you're down in the beach towns, and it's touristy.
it's a military spread
We
in
have a
the
lot of
north.
military here too, so um, that's the one piece of it. I think the other piece is we don't have all permanent residents. So we
Mhm.
have pockets of permanent residency. We have a huge transient military community. We have a ton of rental properties, property management, hotels, condos, apartments. We have the whole thing, and it's different. Um, we also don't have I don't know if this is the right term to use, but mm, like the gentrification kind
Yeah.
of that you'll see in some other cities where um houses in one neighborhood are all very similar and similar
Mhm.
in size and similar in income levels or like values of the homes, right? And here we're still very mixed. Like you can go into a neighborhood and you will see houses of all different types, all different demographics. Everyone's living next to each other. It's very, it is just not homogenized. It's very
Yeah.
different. And so we run into some challenges of how do you best market to one area that feels like 20, right? Feels
Right.
like you're living in 20 different locations. Like one part you're in farms, another part you're in mega mansions, another part you're all in beach rentals. And those are all within 20 square miles of each other.
Hmm.
So we face that, but on a massive scale across 3.5 hours of
Yeah.
territory.
Because unlike, a lot of people live in a metro, right? So I
Mhm.
live here in Oklahoma City, right? And the population it's all condensed in a circle, and it's a radius, and so I can kind of like pinpoint the middle, and I can work my way out. And like you said, there are just large pockets of developments, and like the whole city is a city of developments, and I think that's how most kind of metro cities are. But where you guys live, one is that the population and wealth is almost all accumulated, not in a circle, but it's accumulated on a straight line that's two and
Yep.
a half hours long. That most people don't live in year round. And
Mhm.
so that's an added, complication. And then to your point that I guess I'd call it infill.
Yeah.
A lot of the development in the area is infill. So it was
Yes.
a lower to middle income place for the last 100 years, and
Mhm.
then so some rundown house that hasn't been taken care of in 50 years goes up for sale. Somebody
Yep.
buys it, tears it down, and builds a
Yep.
3-story house on stilts right next to the other two little tiny houses. Like
Yep.
that's you guys. That's what happens there, and you do have amazing places like 30A and those things, but then that is so heavily property management driven,
Mhm.
right? So I
Yep.
guess that kind of goes into, and we can talk a little bit more about some of the challenges, but I am kind of circling into that. You guys began this year on a property management job. So you guys have had to pivot a little bit of your focus or quite a bit of your focus to say, hey, uh, the B to the, like working for our neighbors is great, but we do need to add in property management and other kind of commercial contracts. So what have you guys done to kind of overcome this challenge?
Well, I think what's so funny, Ty, is a lot of our connections that have come from like a property management side or from like a commercial side have been like the person's like looked at for their own home. They're like,
Okay.
"Oh, can you come to our house like do an assessment? Oh, this is really cool. Do you know that I owned like 12 properties and or managed 12?" And you're like, "No, I didn't know that." And then some of it has been that like word of mouth or that direct connection with their own personal property.
Hmm.
Um do you have anything else? Like,
I mean, we've tried a lot of things, right? I mean, connections with real estate agents,
we did a lot
property
of real estate.
managers,
Mhm.
anything from cold calling to cold emailing
Yep.
Hmm.
to knocking on doors and walking into offices, lunch and learns. Um, you know, I I kind of wanted to start wide and then try to narrow it down. But then when you start looking again, going back to our challenges geographically, one strategy that might work here doesn't work here and doesn't work here, but might work over here. And I have 10 different communities, across, 2 hours to where it's a different approach.
Mhm.
Right.
And on a different day, I might have to do it a different way. Um, and so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
No, that's really good, and I think this is one of the things you guys have done really great is that as a franchise or us, we do all that we can to kind of create marketing strategies and different things, but there is this element that like you go into like not everything is going to go as planned, and to some level of variance, and you guys have been really awesome at like just saying, "Hey, let's go do this. Let's do the
Right.
cold calls. Let's do the door." And it's paying off. It's just,
Yep.
when you're working, you guys are kind of in what's going to end up leaning a very heavy B2B market
Mhm.
where you're going to be generating, as we're watching your growth is coming a lot from that space
Yep.
combined with the stain space as well, which is really great for you guys. But uh you do see that it's another level. It's not just a run ads and forget about it,
Right.
or send mail and forget about it. It's
Can
really
you try that?
intentional.
Can you make that work?
Well, some locations it does work like that. You know,
I'm just kidding. We're up for the challenge.
yeah, but but the thing that I will say is that, and you guys know this because you're seeing the fruits of this now, is that the long term of B2B has huge upsides
Yeah.
because those relationships return. You know, they could have hundreds, if not thousands, of doors they're
Yes.
responsible for that really kind of, yeah, all locations, whether they can do just like the regular social media marketing or this, should be doing it because the cost of acquisition slower to get to, but the cost is so much better long term.
I think we're seeing now too. So this specific location that we're in now, this is the fourth or third or fourth job in this Cordova Square. It's called so think strip mall, but the size and scale of the wood is immense. Everything is wood in this location in Pensacola, and there's the windows that we continue to work on there. They're huge. They're what I don't even know the size. They're huge. I mean, tons of panels and panes, and
Either
they're huge.
either these little 9 by 9 panes or 12 by 12 setup.
Yeah. Wow.
And so we, get into one and start working on one. And that person is like, oh, I'm the president of this location too. And you're like, oh, and then they are sharing all their struggles with like, we have let this kind of go with COVID. We've let this go with the hurricane. We've let this go for all these reasons. And now we're trying to come back and clean these areas up and fix all these things. And then we're there, which is great because we can come in to offer the owners of all these individual units an estimate, right? We can do that for free. We can give them some things to think about. And then we get a lot of the biggest roadblock is like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to be this extensive, right? I
Hmm.
let this go for so long and now I have this really big problem. But what we're finding is even though people are a little bit like hesitant to start, it's taking them a couple months and then they're calling us back and being like, well, I talked to a whole bunch of other people and like, you're the only people. Like, you're the only people who can do what we need done in the
Yeah.
way we need it done in a way that's going to last. And we're getting those callbacks. It is happening, I think, slower than we expected, but we're starting to see this now as a trend where we had things in the past that people are coming back to.
Hmm.
And different owners in this specific location are like, okay, like it's time. Like, I guess I'm next. And we are being personally referred by the association there now to be
Yeah.
like, this is the only company that we will actually accept you to do the work,
Oh
get the
wow.
work done by because we trust them.
That's great. That's great. I mean, like I said, you guys, I mean, that's the other thing I was going to ask. One of the questions I usually ask, and I think it's in some ways you've answered it. You can kind of expand on it. Like, I'm always curious, like, how have people perceived the business at the local level? Like, have they been excited for it? Have they, are there do they ever give any kind of like feedback about it? Like, as far as in like whether or not it's too expensive or too cheap or whatever. Like, how has your community kind of received the service?
Yeah. So from a let's say from an individual neighbor residential perspective, the amount of neighbors that whether I've just assessed it, we've assessed it and done the work that have either been here for a long time or have owned a business or have just been connected to this area, whether it's for the military or whatnot. The amount of times I hear in a month, like what you guys do is going to be huge. It just needs to catch on
Hmm.
is always refreshing and rewarding and motivating.
It's refreshing for
Um,
me right now. Yes, that's good to hear.
yeah. And when we're able to on an individual level frame it, the options, the cost of replacement, or the amount of out here probably way more so than a lot of other locations where, you know, they've spliced something in 3 times in the last 5 years and it's still rotting
Yeah,
because whether they haven't done the gutters or the sprinklers are hitting it or for whatever the reason, and then yeah, maybe we cost a little bit more, but like the over time, right? They don't have to worry about repairing it anymore. It looks nicer. And so from, honestly, yeah, there's an occasional one here and there where, oh, you're too expensive. but for the most part, people are seeing the value
Yeah.
when they hear us out, they see it, they see our ads, they get to talk to us, they see the product. More often
They
than
love
not,
it.
people are thrilled.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
love
So,
it.
And
Yeah.
I don't have specific numbers on this, but I do feel pretty strongly about this. And I would say from all of our locations, you guys are one of the highest in just straight referrals. You guys do an
Mhm.
amazing job just getting referrals. And that's just a testament to both, you guys out there in the field and your team. I know Brad's been huge for you guys as far as just like
Yeah.
finding that right employee. So that's awesome as well. So I haven't had the chance to ask this question, but I'm going to kind of go off script here, and because I have a husband and wife on the call, so let's just talk through that. I think that a lot of people might be thinking about getting into business with a spouse or significant other. How have you guys divided up the work? Like, what does that look on a day-to-day basis? And whatever's PG-13 or PG friendly. Like, how has it been working together through
Mhm.
this last year?
I love working with Nate. I think it's so funny. I think we've talked about for so long too of like, oh, we should start our own business. We should do something together. We've both had work from home jobs for so long, so we're both always kind of together anyways.
Yeah.
This actually has separated us strangely enough. We
Oh,
kind of thought that like this would be, well, we'd work from home together and Nate's really out on the road every day and I'm home. So that's
yeah.
that's that was a little different. Um but I think we make a good team. We have a natural, like very natural division of kind of roles and how we separate systems. And so Nate is obviously in the field. He does the assessments. He is out with the guys. He has he kind of takes that piece of it.
Mhm.
And then I focus more of like the back office side. So
Yeah.
payroll, the books. I do a lot of the scheduling behind the scenes that if there's something that comes through from the call center support, I will take that on. I
Mhm.
am following up on past quotes. Like I tend to do all of
Okay.
the things that I can do from home because obviously all the kiddos are home and we
Yeah.
homeschool and I do that throughout the day. So I try to take on as much of that as possible. And then Nate is more out in the field, but we do a lot of strategy work together. Like we
Mhm.
talk about jobs together. We talk about quoting together. We do a lot of that stuff together.
mhm.
We don't always agree on strategy. We don't always agree on like the way things should be done. Um, but I think we make a good team.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And one thing that is a huge benefit given again our geographical struggles, right? Another owner that might be able to go knock out a couple assessments and then go back to the office and then do some of the back office things that Brianna, helps and supports with, right? Like because I am on the road for such a significant time and cannot do those things,
Mhm.
right? It's almost the great, balancer,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Or it evens out the fact that we, it allows me to be on the road more so that, as a team, we kind of maybe do the same as what maybe an individual might do in a smaller territory,
Mhm.
but it's a necessity for, how we have to operate. But it is nice that we do have that natural separation. The things that maybe I like to do or even don't like to do, but will do them anyway, right? you know, I always open up my lunch and learns with, "Hey, y'all, if it feels like if I look nervous or stressed, it's because I'm nervous or stressed because I don't like talking in front of 30 people, um, but yeah, no, I think it's been really good, and we've always worked really well together, and
Yeah.
I think to your
It
point about being on the road, Ty, like, with Nate being on the road more, one of the things that's great is he can like leave a job and call me right away or leave an assessment and call and say this person approved on the spot, like can you get them scheduled, and I can immediately go into Jobber,
Yeah.
hey, it's Brianna, let me help you get scheduled. Or if the call center sends something through the chat and they're like, hey, this person wants quick follow-up, I can immediately do that.
Right.
Where if that was all on Nate, he would have to do that all when he gets home. Like he can't do that while he's driving. So
Yeah.
it just makes this really immediate connection with the neighbors that we can have because it can be this very seamless back and forth. They're not waiting for something to happen a couple days later. I can just do it in the moment. And I think it provides a really nice experience. And our neighbors seem to be, I think they just love, like, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I hear all the time is like, we love your back. They love the back office, like what they consider the back office of
Mhm.
like the Emily, the call center, the me, that they think all these people just live here, I guess, with us. I don't
Yeah.
know what they think, but they love the customer service. That is one of the pieces of feedback we get all the time is like, the culture is unmatched. Like, you don't
Yeah.
get this anywhere else. We love talking to Nate. We love talking to Emily, or Susie is amazing. And we get that feedback all the time. Um, and they love Brad, like, for being an
Yeah.
introvert, right? If you're hiring like an introvert who wants to work by himself, who wants to just dig into a project, he's friends with everyone. People will tell us all the time. They follow up like, Brad's amazing. I had the best conversations with him. And we're like, how does Brad get any work done with all these friends that he makes? But it's just this very, again, this goes back to culture that I think you have set on a franchise level and that we have been able to really implement and hone in here.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where I'm always blown away of like, people love us. Like, as an organization, like, everyone just loves us and it's great. It's, everyone has such a great experience. And I mean, outside of the work, which is, no, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I think that that's so many people. I mean, and I don't want to downplay the work, like, because our technicians do amazing stuff, and I tell everybody on my team and across our organization, like, the technicians are our rock stars, right? Like, and our job is to just get them on a stage to play. Like, that's what we're here to do, and to make sure that they have everything that they need. But people just are so, I think, relieved by the overall experience, right? Because I think that, when you're having somebody come to your house, it's your castle. And for most of us, it's the most expensive thing we'll ever own. And it's where all of our most treasured things are at, our family and our belongings. And when they're able to work with an organization that brings that level of customer satisfaction, of service, they're just really relieved. And I think that that's one, it's a testament to one, how just awesome you guys are doing, and how really all of our franchisees really kind of embody this. And then the kind of just being kind of a an all-together franchise where our contact center is part of the organization. And so you were name dropping people, Susie and Emily. These people aren't like, they're here in Oklahoma, and some of them are in Mexico or wherever. And it's, but it's this, it's that this, we have this like, unified voice at a local level, and it's a really special thing when it's done right. And you guys are a great example of how to do it right. And also, one thing I'll say, like, not that everybody has to do this, you can be successful, but one of the things that we've seen is that, like, owners who come to the table with somebody in mind that's going to be kind of their helper. And I'm gonna be very Mr. Roger-ish. I know we use the neighbors thing, but I always think about Mr. Rogers talking about being a helper. And it's that we have, when franchisees come with a helper, whether it's having a son. I just think about Bruce, who just came on with his two
Yep.
sons as helpers, or it's Stephen and Kyler in Athens, two buddies from church kind of coming together, or the husband and wife. You guys, like, it's so powerful when you could come to the business with a helper, somebody who could kind of you know be your support system to kind of cover the things that you're not great at. That's so powerful, and it really kind of makes it's rocket fuel when you come to a business with a really great helper. All right, well, yeah, high five, right? So, last thing, I just want to kind of, as you guys look ahead, what is it that you're most excited for in 2026? What's the next 12 months? What are you excited for? What are you looking to do in the next year?
Well, I'm most excited about this little baby that's cooking here. It's coming in February,
Yes.
which is gonna really mix things up and make it interesting.
Yeah.
No, but
The
from
2-year interview is, what's it going to be like? What's it like to have a
Yeah,
1-year-old business and a 1-year-old child? Yeah, that's what the next
exactly.
one's
right.
about.
Yep.
So I think, I would say what's coming for us, the big things that are exciting is, again, we talk about Brad a lot. Brad is a fantastic human. He's fantastic at what he does. Um, he he fits in perfectly to our business, our culture, our mindset, and giving him more opportunity, you know, to because for us to grow across our entire territory, which we have yet to do. We didn't really talk about this much, but we really only dove into about half of our territory and
Yeah.
started to build it out for us to be able to really get into our entire territory and push to the east a little bit more. We're gonna, release Brad,
Yeah.
and have him, you know, jump in and do some more assessments and do some work and, some networking, which will allow me geographically to
Hmm.
drive 2 hours, 3 hours away from him and build a business that way, so that we can ultimately start to scale the way we always wanted to when we bought this,
Right.
right? And when we bought into this. And so, um for us, it's time to go next level, right? I mean, so you could sit here and analysis paralysis for
Hmm.
years, right, with all that we have going on. But I think we just, we don't ever do things the easy way.
Yeah.
We always take on about 350% more than we can chew. And so we're gonna have a baby, our fourth kid, right? And we are going to scale our business and we're just gonna get it, we're
Yeah.
gonna
I think
we'll
grow the
figure
stain
it out.
side too, right?
Oh,
Growing the stain
yes,
side.
with yeah,
Yeah.
that is included in continuing to build out the kind of the west side, and then, of course, getting into the east side a little bit more
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
our yeah.
Well, I'm excited for everything that you guys are doing, and I'm excited that, like, as you guys are starting to see it, and we're seeing it with you, is like you start building. It's like the building blocks of business, right? Like you get the fundamentals down, and you make sure that your community is in love with your brand and with your service, and they are raving fans and telling everybody, you guys got that nailed down. It's happening. You guys have laid the foundations for your B2B work. So the property management jobs, the real estate agents, like that stuff, you've laid the foundations for that stuff to grow. And then you've got a technician that you can build the business with, right? And that's so critical is to and it's one of the hardest things for it's not hard to train a technician. I don't want to I never it's not hard to train a technician, but it's hard to find that technician that you can build with. And that
Mhm.
is like the critical piece. And for our locations who find a technician, whether it's day one or day 100, they find that technician they can build with. Because once you find that technician you can build with, then they can be your support to help you train, to help,
Yeah.
and then you can start growing the business. You can kind of work on the business, not in the business as much. And so you guys have,
Mhm.
nailed that. And so it's really exciting. And the stain and seal stuff is going to be great in your market. So I just want to tell you guys how thankful I am for you. Everybody here just is so thankful for you guys, thankful for everything that you're doing. We really appreciate all of your hard work, all of your just, you know, uh, taking the challenges with the and just rolling with the punches and focus on building something really special that serves your neighbors there locally. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Ty.
Thanks, Ty, appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to y'all later.
All right.